You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the December 27th, 2022 special meeting of the Long Beach Town Council. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Okay, welcome everybody to the Town of Long Beach Special Town Council meeting of December 27th. Let's all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. We have a flag somewhere?
I think we do, but that's okay.
Let's pretend we have a flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, for everybody out there on Zoom, if you could all make sure you have your mics muted. We've had some issues with a baby crying. Opening remarks, I just want to add one agenda item under new business. First agenda item will be 2023 budget, and we'll talk about that then. I think we've all seen the minutes from the Executive Council meeting of November 17th. I'll make a motion to approve them. Is there a second?
I second it.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, unfinished business, the agreement between the Town of Long Beach Holding Company and Country Club, or I'm sorry, Long Beach Holding / Country Club. So I've all got a chance to look at that agreement. Anybody have a problem with it? Otherwise, I'll make a motion that we approve it.
I second it.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Okay, Public Works Ordinance, we've all seen that also. I guess the plan is for that, the Public Works Committee to ultimately go down to 5 members, but it'll go down by attrition. Anybody have any discussion about that? Would anybody like to make a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I second it.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Golf cart ordinance, we've all seen that one also.
Dr. Lemay,
Yeah.
before you move forward, I want to make sure. 2 readings on that.
Oh, okay.
On the public works, so you need to suspend and have a unanimous vote.
Okay, so that was unanimous. I'll make a motion to suspend the rules. Is there a second?
I second.
I'm sorry.
I'll make a motion to approve it. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
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 Okay, now it's an ordinance. Golf cart ordinance has been amended to have people register for 2 years. Everybody's had a chance to look at it. Any concerns or questions? Otherwise, I'll make a motion to approve it.
I'll second it.
All in favor say aye.
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 That was unanimous. Chris, we need to suspend the rules again.
You?
Make a motion to suspend the rules. Is there a second?
Second.
I'll make a motion to approve the amended ordinance. Is there a second?
I second it.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're moving right along. Okay, 2023 budget. Mr. Perry, are you out there on Zoom?
Yes, I am.
Good, okay, so the concern I have is that a significant amount of money was taken away from the park department. Apparently no one was aware of that until recently. Is that the only department that had significant monies taken out of its requested budget?
As far as I'm aware, and the amount was not taken away from anybody by my office. The amount that was submitted for the 2023 budget was the amount that was agreed upon by the Budget and Finance Committee over several months and then passed with 2 readings by the Town Council. When it was submitted to the state doesn't automatically just approve everything that we ask for. They came back with changes, and I submitted the report on 2 separate occasions, I believe, that said, can we approve it as is without looking at the changes they made or asking for variations or addendums or amendments? Carl Sender's office recommended that we approve it without changes. Budget and Finance recommended that I signed the Form 1782 and not asked for changes. I brought the form to Budget and Finance, and they said, sign it, and I signed it. And that put our budget into effect. I think the date that form had to be signed that I signed by was December 8th. That was our deadline. And it was signed and sent in. So everybody had ample time and notice. But yeah, unfortunately, the state doesn't have, they look at what we ask for and they tell us what we get. And when they did that, they sent a notification, and I asked everybody if they wanted to look or change or discuss.
Don't you think that if the state makes substantial changes, particularly to one department's budget, that it would be a good idea for you as clerk treasurer to notify the Budget and Finance Committee and the town council of those changes before you ask for our approval? I mean, we all sort of assumed it was exactly what they requested. If we're not told they're changes, we're assuming we got back what they requested.
Again, I talked to Carl Sender's office at length. They did not bring up any of the changes to my attention. And frankly, I wasn't aware of any of the changes that the state made for the Parks Department. After there was a bit of a uproar about the parks not getting the money that they asked for. Trista from Sender's office and I had a discussion about different ways that we can, in fact, as a town council, make changes in 2023 to apply funds to the departments still requesting or needing additional money.
Okay, so, it'd be good if we knew that when we were approving it, but I guess we're just going to have to check everything over before we sign it.
Well, that's always not a bad idea. I mean, again, this is my first go round at this, Doctor, and I felt that with the Budget and Finance Committee, with the town council, and with our municipal advisors all telling me to sign and approve, I signed and approved. So yeah, for sure, check over everything that is regarding the town, especially as town council president. Probably.
Yeah, this sounds vaguely familiar of the minutes from the last the meeting that we just approved. I really don't appreciate you trying to sneak things through on us, okay?
No, there's no nefarious acts on my part, sir. The minutes I reported from the last special town council meeting were a reflection of exactly what happened. It was brought to my attention that I am not supposed to record what exactly happened, and rather I'm supposed to say in very vague terms that nothing really was voted on and not disclose what happened. So I revised them at your request and submitted them. So the constant accusations that I'm doing something nefarious or underhanded are unprofessional and frankly unproductive.
I would suggest then that the Parks Department get back to us, let us know exactly what you guys are going to need, what your plans are. We can bring it up at the next meeting and hopefully make changes to that budget.
Bob, she did. She sent out a...
Right. So what you did send out is what you're requesting?
That's exactly what we requested.
Oh, okay.
I can say that Mr. Fury did not input any of the numbers that we gave.
Yes.
So Joy, can we have a chance to look at that, and then in January?
Absolutely.
All right. So we'll put that on January's meeting. And you know what? I saw that. Could you maybe spell out on there exactly what you guys plan to do in terms of the improvements?
Sure.
I think that would be helpful too. Okay, Alco TV 2023 service agreement. Mark?
Good evening. For the services that we receive annually from Elko, which is Access LaPorte County, in fact, they're present here tonight with us. Kevin is present recording this evening's proceedings. We are billed $2,000 each year. For 2023, they are asking to increase the invoice to $3,000. That amount will be the same that the towns of Westville and Trail Creek will be asked to pay as well. Other communities pay as high as $150,000 to $98,000 per year. Since we are such a small town, we are given some consideration. So therefore, I'm asking for approval from the council tonight to allow us to submit for payment the invoice for 2023 for $3,000 for services, which will include the recording of our monthly council meetings And then also a new feature for 2023, all town meetings will be uploaded to YouTube, where they will then be archived forever. And so if anybody wanted to look back at a meeting sometime in the near future, they could go to YouTube and they could see any of our town meetings as well at that provider.
Any questions or concerns? I'd make a motion to approve that ALCO service agreement.
I second it.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Haas and Associates LLC 2023 Consulting Services Agreement. That's with, we've all seen it. And basically, I think, is that one for you, Chris, or do we?
Nope.
It looks,
Yeah,
You've seen it.
I've seen, yeah. It's
Okay.
just a matter of whether you.
Okay.
Most of them aren't very material increases, but overall, it's just seeking your approval since they haven't done it in a while.
So essentially, most of the work that they do for us is on a time and material basis with not to exceed things like the CCMG contracts and those sorts of things. So what this does is establish the rates that they'll use for that invoicing for the current year, coming year, I should say.
so I'd make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
I'm gonna go play around
Yep.
with the computer because it's not
Yep.
working.
Okay, so next agenda item, Long Beach Public Safety Building Project, Design Build. I think John's gonna make a presentation first, hopefully. We'll see what happens.
Oh, Bob, will you tell them there's seats up here?
Yeah. There are some seats open up front, if you guys wanna come have a seat up here. Anybody?
So I'm going to be speaking to kick things off for Tom Yemps, who is out of town. My name is Megan Applegate, captain of the Long Beach Volunteer Fire Department. I've grown up in Long Beach, and I'm happy to be back as a permanent resident, living just a few minutes away from the current fire station. The Long Beach Public Safety Building is not only essential for our current needs, but the future needs of the town of Long Beach and its residents.
Oops. Oh, wait a minute.
I don't know if that's me or not.
Well,
I don't think it's me, but we'll see. LBFD is in its 90th year of existence. Our department is extremely strong, with many years of collective experience and knowledge that will allow our residents to sleep safely at night. We are your neighbors, your friends, and your family, and we volunteer our time to train, serve, and protect you. But in order to continue to meet the needs of our town, it is important the fire and police department have the equipment and infrastructure to do so. The due diligence has been completed for this project. The Fire Commission has met several times. Contractors have been consulted. Research has been conducted to determine this is the best location, use, and design for the Long Beach Public Safety Building. With that said, we are ready for the Town Council to vote yes and move forward with the project. We appreciate the continued support from the Town Council and look forward to continuing to serve the needs of this amazing town we call home. And now I'd like to hand it over to John Wall and Blake to give some additional information about the project with the PowerPoint.
So I have to apologize to everybody. I'm not real comfortable sitting in a chair when I'm making a presentation. Well, so what we have tonight is there's a slide presentation up on this end of the town. And Alex is kind enough to, you probably want to grab a chair. This might take a couple minutes. He's going to advance the slides for us. If you haven't noticed yet, there are two plans sheets up here. One is the elevations proposed for the new public safety building, and the other is the optional plan that we've kind of selected to date. So I'll give you a little history here. The problem essentially, you know, and I've been in the fire service for over 40 years, and as Mark can attest on the police side, things changed dramatically in that time frame. So we have things for the police department, for instance, ATVs. There was no such thing back when I started. There may have been when Mark started. He's considerably younger than I am. Safety equipment, all kinds of things. We have, you know, we now have Naxalone to do bring people back on from drugs. There's defibrillators. On the fire department side, we have we've been blessed. We got a really nice $150,000 grant last year to get some new SCBAs, which, if anybody's a diver out here, that's a little bit shorter than scuba, but essentially the same thing. Self-contained breathing apparatus. So that compressor's in our old station. We have just a myriad of equipment that is required to. Thank you. is required to do in the fire service these days. Thermal imaging, we now carry 3 different saws on the trucks. Instead of 1 ventilation fan, which was electric back when I was young, we have actually 3 on the trucks now. So truck size has become an issue. They keep growing. We now have to have special OSHA approved seating for, it used to be we'd hang off the back with a belt around us. We can't do that anymore. We have to be inside of a cab. So the equipment has increased in size since that original station was built 50 years ago. Storage needs, again, the police department is in that little tiny garage over there, very inadequate for their needs. That thing has got some maintenance issues as well. In fact, the fire department we're very blessed to have Dave Albers has a warehouse down near his office, which we use to store our excess equipment. So anytime we have to do hose tests, we have to run down there and get our gear, all kinds of things that we would rather have close at hand. The building is inadequate in size. We don't have training and maintenance areas. I'll show you a couple pictures here in a minute that will let you know what it's like to have to work in there. We do not have access or adequate access for the truck maintenance and certainly not for training. There are a couple of agencies that regulate us, no different than construction or any other industry. OSHA regulates us as well. If we ever got an inspection over there, I can tell you we would not pass. NFPA dictates a lot of what we live with in terms of some of the requirements that they have. And again, the building condition is deplorable, and I'll show you a couple slides here in a minute. It's just a 50-year-old building that really hasn't been maintained properly. Personal protective equipment, if anybody's in an industry that understands what that moniker means, essentially that's our gear that we wear that allows us to go into hot environments. That gear protects us to a degree, but there are, whenever combustible materials, particularly with newer materials in this day and age, the combustion products are very dangerous. They cause cancer. If you paid any attention to the press on that issue, you'll understand that, in my era, we had boots that came up to here and a coat that went down past that, and everything came up inside. So if you got a little too close to the fire, you had a little problem with your tush. These days we have much better equipment, but the issues haven't changed. Those cancer-causing agents are on the gear. We always brought that stuff home with us. My kids were in the same car as my gear for all those years, which is a crime. So anyway, the long and short of that is we do not have the capacity, the size capacity in that building to do what most every fire department in the country does. You should have 2 sets of gear, one that is washed so that you have a spare set of gear so that you're always in clean gear. So when I say clean, that's a relative term. So that's a major problem for us in terms of that current building. So we spent a lot of time on a solution. We had decades of analysis. We've talked to multiple architects, contractors, engineers on all the different needs and options for what can we do for a solution for this situation on infrastructure. We looked at response time. Somebody brought up on one of the letters or one of the emails, why do we want to put it in the center of town? Well, we looked at putting it out at the street garage area. We actually ran the trucks around and came up with a little bit of a time study analysis. If Megan, for instance, who lives at 27.5 up here on the hill on Oriole, has to go all the way out to the street garage and then turn around and come all the way back into town, that believe it or not, that's a significant amount of time when our response times average around 4 minutes or so. So really, that's, we've done the homework. I just want you to know. We consulted with other fire departments. We visited other fire departments. I was blessed to be in the construction industry. We brought lots of plans in from departments that I was aware of. So we've done our homework again. We distilled it down to the current multi-use building. This current building, let's do this. Can you bounce go all the way down to where you see the plan? Hopefully you guys can see it a little better on there. It's probably about 5 in. Well, hold on. Let's look at these real quick. So what you're looking at here, a minute ago I mentioned the condition of the current building. What you're looking at here, this my brother could speak to this better because he knows this better than I do. But this building has the existing fire department building has like 3-inch decking, wood decking that spans quite a distance to wood beams. You can see on the exterior that it is actually rotting away. I mean, it's already rotted. So, that's going on up in the building as well, because at the edge, it may be a little worse here. But at any rate, in our office, we currently have water dripping down onto our area where our computer and records are stored, to give you an idea of the condition of the building. This is an example. Our logbook, where we have to log our time, was up on this table, and then the water drips right into that bowl so that it doesn't ruin our logbook. Give me the next one. So just to give you an idea of the size of the place, okay, this is when I talked about the new trucks. When I was a kid, like I say, we used to hang off the back of the trucks when we were running the fires. You have to have an enclosed cab now. So this truck, you know, it fits in there, but just barely. This is some of the new equipment we were blessed to get. The town authorized us to buy a compressor because this higher capacity SCBA system needed a new compressor. But if you can see this, you maybe cannot, but we had to put pipe bollards in here because this is about 3 inches right here, and this is about 6 inches right here. So there's really no room for the gear that we have in there and the equipment that we have. Let's go to the next one. Again, remember I talked to you a little bit about the personal gear, the personal protective equipment. So our guys, our people, our girls and guys have to get in here. That truck's on its way out the door while they're trying to maybe bend over and get their boots on. I mean, there's zero room. Again, if OSHA came in here and knew that our people were in here trying to change into gear in that kind of a limited space, we'd be slapped big time. Same thing, I just want to give you an idea of the cramped space. That's the overhead door, and that's the front of the truck. Okay, that's enough of that. Let's bounce to the actual plan and elevation real quick. So we chose what's called a design build concept. You know, we don't have any in-house. If this was Chicago or even Michigan City, there'd be a city engineer and a city planner and you know, maybe even an architect on staff. We don't have those kinds of things in a little town like this. So what we did was we researched what's the best construction delivery method. So we looked at, you know, a typical architect, hire an architect, then you hire a contractor, but you still have to coordinate all that. So the beauty of this design build concept, which by the way is authorized by Indiana State Code in the last decade or so, is that we have a single source, and I'm going to introduce the design build team member is here for us this evening. So that method allows us to let them be the single source. In fact, if you can imagine, this is our old station right here. The footprint of the old, you're looking at a plan view. This is the old police garage, that little itty bitty garage. What we're going to do, originally when we proposed it to the design build teams, we had 6 contractors show up for the meetings, 2 contractors submitted on the second phase. We originally said, hey, let's just put it back where it was. Holiday, who turned out to be our chosen design build team, made a great innovative suggestion. They said, just put it up here, turn it this way, drive out that way. That just does some beautiful things. It separates aesthetically from the old historical town hall to our newer building. It gives us a direct out. It has sun on the pads so that we get, you know, a little bit of help from the sun on our snow removal, and then north winds aren't clobbering us when the doors go up. So just a wonderful, innovative idea. Bounce to the next one. Some of the other things in terms of what we're at now, and this is only a 30% design. I want to stress that, and we're going to talk about numbers here in a second. So they propose, you know, maybe making use of some of the old materials, so aesthetically it resembles, you know, the old buildings. Even the window treatments could potentially be designed such that it would not be glaringly different from the architectural style of the existing buildings. One beauty of that prior slide is that we will not have to get out of the station while they're building. If we would have done the original suggestion that we gave them, they would have had to mow that building down. We would have had to take our trucks, put them out at the street garage, and operate out of there for 3 or 4 months, which would have been not a good thing. So we're just very pleased with this innovative design that they submitted on. We also, back on that plan, if you can get back there, Alex, because of the height, the sidewall of the building is going to be about 18 feet high, and it'll be somewhere 24 or so. We're going to have a mezzanine above this whole side of the building, so we got all kinds of future potential for storage and activities. The police, again, we talk about this as a multi-story building. We renamed it the Public Safety Building because that's essentially what it is. The meeting room space will be available for the town. The police will have the ability to store some ATVs potentially and a couple of squad cars in there. So when they come off shift in the middle of the evening, they can pull into a nice warm area, get out, take advantage of the break room, the fitness room potentially. So it's just going to be a nice plus for all of us. We had, you know, the restrooms are inadequate in the current building. We have ladies and gentlemen in our fire service now, so we'll have 2 restrooms and even a shower now. And our personal protective gear will be in an area with adequate ventilation, and then we'll have a shower for decontamination potentially, and then we'll be able to have our laundry facilities in there to make sure that gear is cleaned and ready to roll. Well, the parking, so when we took the building and went like this parking goes away, but they're actually, this parking will be new between the town hall, and then in the event that Little Giant ever decides to pull up stakes, the town in the future could actually have a great plaza area there, or whatever they wanted to do for future development. So again, it's a really neat proposal. So this is about a $2.5 million proposal. If you want to knock into the next slide there. Or I think you have to go backwards to get the cost. There you go. So we're at 30% design. You know, you can't ask the contractors to come up with 100% design. We haven't even thought it all through yet, but we do have to keep them moving. So at 2.5 is what we're currently at with a 30% design. As we refine those drawings over the next couple of months, right now this cost estimate is based on us giving them a notice to proceed, you know, in early January, which means we hopefully get a vote this evening from the town council to proceed. That'll allow them to stay on schedule. There's all kinds of supply chain issues and other things that we have to deal with. The metal building needs to be ordered right away. We can alter some of the design and the aesthetics and things as the design process progresses over the next 2 or 3 months, but we do need to keep the ball rolling. So, you know, everybody wants to know, well, how much is it going to cost, how that's going to affect me. What I'll do now, I think, is Blake on Zoom?
Yep, I'm here, John.
What I'm going to do is turn it, for those that don't know, Megan and Blake are brother and sister. I think their father's here this evening, if not their mother. Blake is our fire department treasurer. He's going to speak a little bit about affordability.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, John. John mentioned I've been the treasurer for the Long Beach Fire Department for the last few years, as well as a lieutenant on the department. So we're fortunate to have the town's municipal financial advisor, Sender and Dalton, perform some analysis for us to give us a couple different options on how this project could be funded. Option one would be a basic 15 or 20-year GO bond with central general obligation. This would be paid for with property taxes. However, from the Sender analysis, which is available on the website, there would be little to no impact on the vast majority of residents' real estate taxes. So that was a positive there. The primary difference between going with a 15 versus, say, a 20-year bond would be just the additional interest and potentially a higher interest rate that would be attached to that bond based on public market rates at the time. The second option, which may be an attractive option, would be to form a building corporation. Essentially, the building corporation route allows the town to basically lease the building from a separate nonprofit corporation. And while this does sound complicated, the benefit here is that this does not affect the town's constitutional debt limit because it keeps the debt off of the town's books, essentially. This is not an exotic structure or new structure that we're trying to skirt around anything. This is a tried and true structure for financing public projects. Fortunately, with the passing of the local income tax increase in LaPorte County that was designated for first responder use on top of the cash reserves that the town does have now, we're confident that these would be great sources to potentially service this debt, whether we did option one or option two. And as I mentioned before, from the Sender Dalton analysis, there would be little to no impact on real estate taxes for folks who are capped at the 1% of assessed value property tax. All the information that we're talking about tonight is on the town website as well as our website, lbfd.org, in case anybody is interested. And at this point, I'll turn it back over to John.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We're limited on our AV equipment here. We're just going to have to take our word. Anything that you're seeing here will be on the website for public access. So in terms of what Blake just mentioned, one thing I do want to say is if anybody's old enough or has been a resident long enough, when they did the town hall renovations about 15 years ago, they used a building corporation, just identical to what we're proposing here, or what Carl Sender proposed as probably the best alternative so that we still can maintain our borrowing capacity. The town has about Carl, do you want to speak to that a little bit? Sorry to put you on the spot.
There we go. Yeah, so right now we have $1 million, the town has a little under $1 million general obligation bond, and that's paid off in 2026. So if we were to, the town council were to vote to proceed, probably issuance next year once the final design is done and we have good numbers. Bonds would be sold, and for the first 2023 through 2026, we'd pay interest only, so that we wouldn't have principal and interest until our original bonds are paid off. That keeps the debt service rate lower. And as I believe he mentioned previously, the town does have public safety money from the local option income tax. A portion of that money could offset some of the debt service payment. It probably would not fund the whole thing, but it could fund a part of it, so it'd be a minimal tax rate impact. And of course, some of the town's AVs we expect conservatively to grow over the next several years, at least 3%. And so we've kind of looked at that with the $2.5 million finance, say over a 15 and a half year period. It would be a small tax rate increase once the full debt service payment kicks in. But as Blake had mentioned, for majority of the folks, if you're already at the 1% tax cap, you're not going to be affected by that. So, and the break-even point is $150,000 in assessed value for resident homeowners.
Thank you, Carl. And I don't know, there are probably many business people in the audience. So when you look at the town of Long Beach, I forget what the water site is. It's probably, I don't know, Mayor, $1.5 million or every year annually, something like that. So $1.5 million, and the town is a little over $2 million. So you're not quite a $4 million operation. So to take on a $2.5 million project as a working ongoing concern is not a tremendous undertaking. So in terms of the decision process, and if you can find that slide for me, it's probably, there you go. So one thing, this town board, this town council has been very proactive in terms of capital plan. The town has stubbed its toes over the years. I've only been involved for 3 years, but one of the first things that happened to us when I first came on was all of a sudden Bill came to us and said, hey, there's a $90,000 payment due on the John Deere loader that nobody knew about, because we hadn't planned for it. We hadn't sat down and said, well, how often do we need to replace things in this town? What's going to go haywire? So what we did in the last year, and Mike Johnstone's been active with this as well, we sat down with all departments and said, what are you guys going to need the next 5 years? So for instance, the building we're sitting in, we spent about $100,000 on a cooling tower out here. Again, this was pre-planned. We got contractors in, we got bids, we took a look at numbers, we said, hey, what do we need to do? We've got, in our 5-year projection, we've got some money for the unit heaters in all the rooms. In fact, one of the unit heaters, where's Mr. Diener? Jim can speak to the fact that the system is in need of some help. So we looked all through the town. We came up with all the different capital requirements. Mark needs squad cars. Tom Dolph needs plows. The fire department needs a new building, the public safety building. So that's what we did with this. And we brought it to the working group, which is 5 individuals. I like them, or 6 actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Kurt Ernst, who's a fire chief, Dan Sells, Mark Swistek, the public safety, or rather the police chief and town administrator, has been involved later in the process, but we've tried to get some input from everybody, and then Tom Yemp as well. Doug Wickstrom, who I'd like to recognize. Any of you that don't know Doug, he works very hard on this building that we're sitting in. He was an architect by trade, he was one of the principals at Fanning and Howe, I think it's fair to say, and he's been helping us all through this process over the last year in terms of helping us make good decisions relative to what we do for this interacting between us and the design build teams, and looking at the future, and what he helped us cube out the spaces and all that thing. He's just been invaluable, and we're very grateful for his help. But I just want you to understand that this isn't just, we're not going off half-cocked. We've done a lot of homework on this thing and spent a lot of hours. Okay. The town actually has, and then we brought this to the Fire Commission on a number of occasions, the Budget and Finance Committee, and also the Town Council. So I couldn't get a vote at the last meeting. I'm hoping tonight we can get a vote to keep moving. The town actually, under the contract that we have with the town, meaning the fire department is a separate corporation, there is an addendum to that contract, and Mike's very familiar with this because he helped negotiate it a year ago, that basically says if the town can't afford it, that's the caveat, but the town is under obligation to provide equipment and infrastructure for the fire department. And now we're calling this the public safety building because indeed that's what it is, and it'll help all of our departments, but essentially the town does have that as a contractual obligation. I just want to make that clear. So the design build method, we talked about that. So we're actively seeking the town council's vote this evening. So in closing, I'm just going to mention a couple things, and then what we're going to do then after that is allow for public comment. And Bob can explain that process a little better than I, but essentially what that means is you can have a minute or so to come up here if you've got a question or if you've got something you want to ask. We don't really, our town attorney advises us, we don't have to enter into a dialogue necessarily with you when you're doing your public comment. And with as many people here, we'll try to limit it a little bit. We also want to read, we get some very positive input from the community when we ask for emails and letters. So we're going to read those off real quick. It shouldn't take very long. But in closing, I'm just going to say, planning and implementation of capital needs is very important for this town because we just can't afford to wait until something breaks down. I remember any of you that were around for a while when Tom Dolph had to replace all of his plows in 1 year, and that was just crazy. We don't want to get into those shoes again. The town council, thankfully, has been very supportive to date for all of our efforts. We now have a new rescue vehicle in the old police garage and a new fire engine on the way, which will be coming in about 18 to 24 months. We don't have to pay anything for that yet. We have to arrange the financing, but that will be arriving over the next year and a half, 2 years. This project, I think, is a great chance for this town council to leave a legacy, a great legacy for the town's future. The design build team, and I'm going to introduce, actually, I knew his father for many years, but Scott Trueblood is here. I'm sorry, Clayton Trueblood is here with us this evening. He's on the Holiday design build team. He was sitting over there. Oh, there he is. If you could just stand up for a second. That's Clayton Trueblood, who helped us with the design build submission. They're a well-respected industry leader. They're very professional. As I mentioned to you earlier, they're very innovative, and we're just thrilled to have them on board. We had, again, 6 people in the original bid and 2 design build submissions for the second phase. The third phase will involve tightening up the design process and getting final numbers. So we do need the council to vote tonight to keep the ball rolling because these guys can't guarantee numbers or supply of materials. You all understand supply chain issues the way the world goes around today, and everybody's probably aware of what the price of eggs are. So you can imagine what the price of that building is going to do if we wait. We really thank you for your support, and whoever's coming up, I think Chris is going to come up and read those letters for you real quick. We'll try to make it quick. And again, thank you all for your support.
So we received 50 letters in total from 48 households. So I'll try and cruise through as much as possible. This is from Cheryl and Jim Chapman, 2923 Summit. Since I won't be attending the town hall or Zoom meeting, I want to write to you a letter on support on behalf of my husband and myself. Ever since we moved to Long Beach 15 years ago, and our next door neighbor, John Hayes, volunteer firefighter, told us that volunteers work, we've been supporters. I read over the proposal and hope that everyone on the town council will vote yes to all these improvements. This is Jim Parsons, 2326 Tinkers Way. You have my support for the public safety building project. Jim Mullins, 2914 Lakeshore. I'll be out of town on the 27th. Obviously, you have my support with whatever your plans are. Thanks for everything. John Mangle, 1508 Lakeshore. The real questions are, 1, what's the price tag? 2, what is the configuration location? 3, what other options were considered? And 4, how will the existing facilities be repurposed? Commentary, police cars are not bigger. Used to be Crown Vics, now Explorers and Tauruses. Fire trucks fit last week, why do we need more space? Town is not growing, I suspect even more seasonal than ever. Seems like people have a need for more like money burning a hole in their pockets. Britt Whitfield, 2600 Bell Plain. The LBFD has mine and my family's full support for this special project. I won't be able to attend the meeting, but look forward to hearing that their plan moves forward. Jerry Ellens, 2000 Berwyn Avenue. As a 1960s Long Beach volunteer fireman, I feel this new building is absolutely necessary and long overdue. Please proceed with its construction. Sean Doyle, 2501 Lakeshore Drive. Am I like too close here? John Sean Doyle, 2501 Lakeshore Drive. I'm a full-time resident of Long Beach, and I wish to express my strong support for the construction of a new public safety building. I've been fortunate enough to have had no need of the services of a fine fire department or police department directly, but I've become familiar with the men and women who volunteer their time, lots and lots of their time, to provide first responder services to this wonderful community. They are special people who give to our community. It is our obligation as citizens that do not volunteer their time to the LBFD to do all that we can to provide the facilities and equipment these men and women need and deserve. To the members of the Town Council, I ask you to please vote yes on the proposal to design and build a new public safety building. Paul Salmon, 2525 Lakeshore Drive. A couple of things come to mind. Having a local volunteer fire department able to respond to fire and other emergencies within the community in a timely manner over a distant Michigan City or LaPorte County Fire Department has a direct effect on our safety and the pricing of our homeowner insurance. The reduction in premium is directly related to the fire suppression rating schedule and resulting public protection classification criteria that insurance companies use in reviewing the fire prevention and fire suppression capabilities of individual communities. To be eligible for and maintain the PPC, the community must have an adequate number of well-organized and properly trained firefighters, one or more suitably equipped fire trucks or vehicles that respond to all first alarm structure fires with reliable emergency communication, and 3 adequate fire station facilities to provide protection from the weather for trucks, emergency equipment, operational records, and training materials. Getting the PPC classification is not a one-and-done event. Inspections are periodic, usually annually, and if any of either the number of firefighters, their equipment, or facilities fail to meet the inspection, the PPC number and safety drops. For the safety of our community, it is incumbent on the Long Beach Town Council to support financial initiatives that will maintain the safety and effectiveness of the volunteer fire department. Jim Scott, 2912 Lothair. Long Beach has my full support for the additional facilities and equipment needed. We Long Beachers are so fortunate to have the best fire, police, and street departments. Having utilized the EMS service twice, there's nothing better in the USA, and they are volunteers. Mike and June Salmon, 2309 Lakeshore Drive. We will be traveling and not able to attend. Please use this email as our support for the new public safety building. Clint Patton and Alex Rumsey, 2931 Lakeshore Drive. Thank you for reaching out to me last week to bring to attention the upcoming special council meeting regarding the improvements needed to bring the fire and police facilities up to modern standard. While we will not be able to attend the meeting in person, we greatly favor the capital expenditures. We wish you well with the vote later this month. If there's anything we can do in the meantime, please let us know. Julie Sosa, 2020 Belvedere. I wanted to reach out to you as I heard there's consideration for a new Long Beach Public Department station, Long Beach Fire Department station. I would like you to know that I support this. I believe we have a great community here, and it is strengthened by our police and fire departments. I hope the town will support this. I've seen the LBFD in action, and we are very lucky to have all of you, especially with it being a volunteer team. We had one call at our house where there was steam and it looked like smoke coming off our roof, and the smoke alarm was going off. It was in the summer. Luckily, everything was fine. It was a false alarm. A very strange situation where the weather changed quickly. The fire department showed up in minutes, and there were at least 7 volunteers here at our house. Again, it was a false alarm, but we were so thankful to all of you. Mike Riley. My wife and I are fully in favor of the public safety building project as outlined in your letter from December 14th. Long Beach has been fortunate to have a volunteer fire department which over the many years has provided peace of mind to all residents regarding the department's ability to provide a high level of public safety protection and professionalism. Early in my career, I was a member of the Lafayette, Indiana City Council, and in that capacity also served as a member of the Public Safety Committee. I saw firsthand how important it was to maintain the facilities, equipment, and personnel designed to provide state-of-the-art fire protection to the residents of that community. As 47-year residents of Long Beach, my wife and I realized that the Long Beach Fire Department has had to make do with facilities and equipment that was in need of repair or replacement. We know that one of the cornerstones for the continued viability of Long Beach is to have a volunteer fire department with the best facilities and equipment available today and in the future. We firmly believe that the public safety building project is critically important to the future of Long Beach, and we support every effort to make this project a reality. Mary Frances Grote, 2201 Hoveland. I'm asking the town council to vote yes to complete the design build process for a much needed public safety building. Yes is the only reasonable answer. The new facility is required to support the Long Beach Volunteer Fire Department and Police Department. Failing to support these departments would be pathetic and shameful. Mike and Maura Maloney, 2015 Melrose. We are in receipt of the letter emailed on 12/14. I fully support the project and the proposed financing options and tax implications as stated in the letter. We are not full-time residents, but the projects are needed and will only add to the safety and security of the residents in their homes. Claudia Merceniak, 2827 Lakeshore Drive. Thank you for putting together the information in advance of the public meeting. It's very detailed and helpful. I'm fully supportive of the project, but I have a couple questions that I think might be beneficial to everyone to know, so I'm surfacing them in advance of the meeting so that someone could address these issues. What is the estimated project cost, including the reserves being used? What does that leave in reserves for the town? The sources and uses statement for the total project would be helpful. I see only for the bond insurance issuance only. Without reviewing all the detailed plans, was there an attempt to make this LEED certified or energy efficient or self-sustaining solar roof in any way? I realize that adds to the construction cost, but there may be operational savings. There may be grants to make these energy efficient improvements. Thank you for putting this project together. I want to make sure that the public safety people are adequately supported in a way to do their jobs because they are so important to this community. So, Jen.
2300 Florimond, Anita Remages. President, Council, Chief Town Administrator Swistek, valued members of LBVFD. I recently spoke in favor of the proposed funding for the public safety building to be used not just as a firehouse for LBVFD, but as well for the benefit of the police department. The new building must replace the old firehouse, which is no longer repairable and or feasible. Safety of firefighters and police officers is paramount. Fire, smoke, contaminated uniforms must not be carried in personal vehicles, and an area for exercise and rest is required. The new building has been discussed since at least 2016. It is up to the residents and non-residents to educate themselves in the things going on of the town, especially financial and safety. Carl Sender, CPA, presented on several recent occasions extremely understandable funding options. This is not a surprise. Having just witnessed the response to a neighbor's home fire, all residents, non-residents, owners should want and require the best fire police protection possible. I know I do. Edward Austin, 1629 Lakeshore Drive. My wife, Kathleen, and I are in full support of the proposal to construct new facilities for both the fire and police departments. Hopefully, the new building will dramatically improve the response time for medical emergencies and include our own ambulance manned by qualified paramedics. Tom King, 2301 Florimond. Please accept this letter as my strong support of the proposed construction of the new Long Beach Public Safety Building. While I fully recognize the material financial commitment this project requires, I appreciate that as an investment in our town and our residents' well-being. Our volunteer firefighters dedicate themselves to providing best-in-class fire protection to the town of Long Beach. They do so at a significant personal expense, foregone time with family and friends, time focused on their paid professions or vocations, and at the risk of their own personal safety. Their service is invaluable. Further, our volunteer firefighters bring a personal aspect to their services that could never be replicated with contracted public safety services from outside our community. I cannot express the value of seeing friends such as Tom Yemps and Dave Albers as opposed to anonymous professionals arriving for medical calls for my late parents, or having friends such as John Wall and Megan Applegate responding to carbon monoxide alarms at my home while I was out of town, staying to ensure my family who were staying at the house were safe, personally calling me to notify me of the situation, and following up in subsequent days to ensure that the problem has been safely resolved. And all of this is done on a volunteer basis. Incredible. So the least we can do, and it is our responsibility to do this, is to best position our volunteer fire department to continue to succeed for everyone's safety and well-being. And to do this, we must armor them with up-to-date facilities and equipment. I strongly support the proposed construction of the new public safety building. Mike, I'm sorry for Dicasola, sorry for butchering it, 2302 Lakeshore Drive. My wife Jen and I recently moved to Long Beach after spending much of our lives in the Chicagoland suburbs. The appeal to us was always small, tight-knit community near the lake, which provided us and our kids the opportunity to spend more time together as a family before losing them to college and everyday life. Long Beach provides us with what we thought were many appealing characteristics, such as community, small town feel, leisure, and safety. We have come to find out that one of these attributes, safety, may be in question given the age and condition of our public safety facilities, including fire and police. Peace of mind regarding our everyday safety is very important to us, as I'm sure it is to every resident of Long Beach, Indiana. That said, we fully support continued initiatives to upgrade our aged facilities and provide our very important first responders the ability to do their jobs in the best of their ability. Despite not being a resident of Long Beach until just recently, we have spent the better part of the last 10 years visiting friends in this community. Fortunately or unfortunately, we've had to call on both police and fire departments to come and assist us on occasion. Now living here almost full time, I'm certain that we'll require their services in the future. Because of what we would like to do, and because of that, we would like to do anything within reason to ensure that they are able to continue to act in a timely manner and provide Long Beach citizens with the peace of mind that they deserve to be as safe as possible. This means providing police and firefighters with up-to-date equipment, adequate space to do their jobs, and the best training and education possible. This cannot be done without adequate funding. I implore you to consider the proposed project and support your local firefighters and police. Dave and Lisa Miniat, 2949 Lakeshore Drive. Thank you and the other volunteers for your services in protecting our community. I don't know if I'll be able to make the meeting on the 27th. If not, I would like to go on record that I fully support the Public Safety Building Project. Thank you again for your services. Trina and Jason Newman, 2720 Belle Plaine Trail. We have been Long Beach homeowners for many years and have seen firsthand how Long Beach Fire Department protects our community. Recently, there was a house fire across the street from our home. Within a short amount of time, the volunteer firefighters were on scene and able to contain the fire from spreading to other homes. Had they not been as close, many other homes could have been affected. We're in full support of any new facilities the department needs and deserves. Kristen and Scott Schaub, 2964 Lakeshore. Both my husband Scott and I are in favor of the new public safety building. In order to support both our Long Beach Volunteer Fire Department as well as our Long Beach Police Department, we believe our town council should vote yes to provide adequate facilities for our hardworking public servants to be able to best serve our community. Our personal experience was extremely positive. During a renovation of our home, our contractor was unaware that his actions would cause our fire alarm to become activated. I received a call from our alarm company and I was nearby. When I pulled up to my house, not 10 minutes later, Larry Wall, a volunteer firefighter, somehow heard the alert and immediately came to our home. He got there before I did and stopped by to make sure everything was okay. We are grateful that the Long Beach Fire Department has had such dedicated firefighters. We feel extremely fortunate to live in a community with such a solid group of volunteers willing to sacrifice their time in order to protect our town. Based on our experiences in Long Beach, with both the volunteer fire department as well as police force, we strongly believe that the town should provide safe and modern facilities for those who serve and protect us on a daily basis. 2941 Oriole Trail, Nicole Knight. My name is Nicole Knight, and I support the public safety building. Joy Schmidt, 1607 Oaks Court. I know most of you through my last 10 years being involved in local government, but I am writing to you today as a 67-year resident of Long Beach. I remember when Evie Black was fire chief and Roger Linton was police chief, and they lived above the town hall with their families. I have slept soundly and securely my entire life knowing that LBFD and LPPD exist. When you peel away all the layers of Long Beach, at the very core is our fire and police departments. I have been so blessed to not have often needed their services in my lifetime, but have also been blessed to know that they are there, the absolute core of our community. Without them, Long Beach does not exist. We become Michigan City. I can think of no better way to spend our tax dollars than to support our fire and police services to ensure they have everything they need to continue to provide us with exceptional services they have always provided. It seems every time this subject comes up, the same few guys who dislike the fire department show up with the loudest voices and the council backs down. One thing I have learned in my time in local government is that generally it's mostly those against a project who show up to a public meeting. I truly believe the majority of our community is all in favor of this project, and I wish the council the courage to stand up to the loudest naysayers and do what is best for the town of Long Beach. Neil and Joan Doyle, 1616 Lakeshore. We are in full support of the construction of their proposed public safety building to provide much needed new facilities to serve Long Beach police and fire departments. Thank you for your service to the community and keeping our homes and families safe. Kennedy family, 2302 Florimond. We'll support and attend if we were over there. Pat and Jean Cannon. The Cannon family supports the construction of the new building in order to upgrade and ensure the safety of our entire community. Pat Cannon, I fully support the initiative, new public safety building in Long Beach. We should never place public safety anything but first in line for our funding priorities. We have 5 registered voters in our home, and all 5 support this positive initiative for our community. A couple of my family members will be able to attend the meeting on Tuesday, but those who cannot attend want to voice their full support of this project via email.
Claire and Connie Falcone, 2900 Montclair Way. As homeowners in Long Beach, I write this letter in support of it for a new public safety building. Public safety is of paramount importance to the homeowners and residents of Long Beach. We are fully supportive of this project. Please let us know if there's any additional supporting materials, and we are happy to discuss the matter with committee members anytime. Billy Kenefick and family, 2318 Hazeltine. My name is Bill Kenefick, and I, along with my wife Amanda and 2 children, live at 2318 Hazeltine. We are writing in support of the Public Safety Building Update Project. Having reviewed the information on hand, we support the need to improve the project and redesign process. Thank you to the Long Beach Police and Fire Department for keeping our community safe. Lenore Jogman, 2213 Florimond. I support the public safety building for the town of Long Beach, Indiana. Protecting our community needs to be the highest priority of the town's residents. Doug and Ann Robson, 2911 Lothair Way. It is our understanding that the town council is deciding whether to build the Long Beach Fire Department a new facility. Long Beach has benefited for years from the selfless dedication of the men and women volunteers of the LBFD. These volunteers serve and protect the community not only in the event of fire, but also medical emergencies, lift assists, and other community improvement projects, such as the ice rink and flag hanging. The volunteers ask for nothing in return for being on call 24/7, interrupting their days with our emergencies and potentially risking their lives for our community. We believe the least we can do to support these individuals is to provide them with the best facility and equipment available. These wonderful volunteers should be provided a place to train and maintain their equipment that is up to community and health standards. We'd like to show our support for a new facility for the Long Beach Fire Department and ask the town council to support the LBFD's request to construct such a building. Mary and Edward Classy, 2208 Fairway Drive. My husband Ed is a retired fire chief for Evergreen Park, Illinois, and I, Mary Classy, are in full support of a public safety project. Long Beach fire and paramedics are some of the finest we have had the opportunity to interact with. The public safety project is a necessity to keep Long Beach in step with surrounding communities. Again, we fully support this project. Nick and Colleen Meyer, 2302 Grassmere Drive. Thank you for your continued work in leading Long Beach. My wife Colleen and I are writing in support of the fire station project. The town has to contemplate many difficult decisions, but advocating for public safety should always be at the top of the priority list. The Long Beach Volunteer Fire Department provides an essential service to the community, and in many cases at a tremendous value when compared with other communities. Based on prior research on this topic, Michigan City has no interest in taking on the Long Beach to provide emergency services without annexing the entire community into Michigan City. This is an essential investment in the future of this community, and we believe there's more support than not. Thank you for your careful deliberation and thoughtful review of this proposal. David and Bridget Van Eckeren, 1624 Lakeshore Drive. David and I would like to formally support the Long Beach Fire Department in their efforts to build a new facility. For the 10 plus years our family has had a home in Long Beach, I've witnessed the constant dedication and hard work of all your members, especially you, Dan Sells, have had. During our construction, we have had many false fire alarms go off, and you are all quite understanding when we need to say false alarm. Also, last summer, we had our carbon monoxide detector go off when you arrived and helped us identify the issues and told us how to fix. In a small town like Long Beach, it is essential to have a fire department such as yours with the relationships that you have with the community. Most of you live in Long Beach, you care about Long Beach, and you dedicate your time and resources to make our community safe. We hope the Long Beach Town Council recognizes the importance of keeping our community safe and the importance of our new facility and votes in support of it at their meeting on 12/27. Jim Britnell, 2320 Lakeshore. Thanks for reaching out. I have not seen you over the past few years. I'm an annual supporter of the LBFD and do not take the efforts of you and so many others for granted. The letter outlining the need is pretty clear, as it sounds like when, not if, these upgrades are necessary and affordable. The plan appears to involve the elimination of town center parking lot to install new buildings, so that might be objected by some, but not sure who actually uses that, as it almost always seems empty. The path forward seems surprisingly affordable. $2.5 million without any tax increase sounds almost too good to be true, but not my area to question. While it sounds pretty aggressive to secure approval and build within a year, the less disruption, the better. Paul and Donna Vilsner, 2430. We want you to know that we support the Long Beach Public Safety Building proposal. Catherine DeLaber, 2508 Oriole Trail. I 100% support the building of the public safety building. Long Beach has needed a more efficient, updated building for many years. It is definitely time to move forward with this project. Carly Lopez. My name is Carly Lopez and I live at 2206 Oriole Trail. I'm unable to make the meeting tonight, but I wanted to send an email in support of the public safety building. Pascal Lopez, also at 2206. I wanted to send an email in support of the public safety building. Thomas and Mary Beth Mulcahy, 2503 Roslyn. Tom and Mary Beth Mulcahy have been residents of Long Beach for over 30 years, and we are sending this message to you to confirm our support for the new LB Fire Station. We believe a new station will increase the ability of the fire department to protect our property and individual safety. We cannot attend the special meeting tonight, but want to show our support through this email message. Anna Radke, I live at 2024 Oriole Trail. I appreciate the Long Beach Fire Department and police departments and support the approval of a new updated public safety building for them and all LB residents. Kathy Grady, 2509 Glendale. I am in support of a new public safety building for the town of Long Beach. I would like the town council to vote yes for this. Linda Sperling, 1807 Ridgemore. I'm unable to attend, but I am very much in support of the solution for the fire department for the provision of the LB fire and police departments. Yes for the public safety project. Susan Comment, Michael Comment, 2026 Somerset. We want to make you aware that both Susan and I have reviewed the December 14th letter describing the building improvements needed. The current operating problems described require resolution, and the proposed plan to do so as described in the letter are sensible. We are unable to attend the meeting this evening. Want to make you aware we support the improvement plan as well as the financing approach as described in the letter. Jeff and Jenny Kohler, 2712 Roslyn. After reviewing the proposal and needs, I'm voicing my approval for this process. Almost there, got 2 more to go. Mike Kanier, 2200 Oakenwall Drive. I've been a resident of the town of Long Beach for 57 years. The town of Long Beach Fire Department is completely managed by volunteers who deeply care for this town and its residents. While I was still living in my parents' home, they had a small fire break out in the kitchen due to a dishwasher malfunction. Our volunteer fire department showed up almost immediately to put out the fire and comfort and care for my family. There are countless stories like ours where people receive such amazing care from volunteers willing to selflessly serve this community. It is our hope that the town council unanimously supports the initiative put forth by the fire department, and we as a community rally around this effort for the safety of our town. Our desire is for the fire department to have the best equipment needed. Someday it may be your home suffering from a fire, and you would want the best equipment available to fight your fire. Our family is in complete support of the Town of Long Beach Fire Department's initiative. And CJ Dempsey and Kitty Dostrup, 1534 Lakeshore Drive. I'm writing today to express my support and admiration for all the men and women involved in the volunteer fire department. I am close with a few volunteers and have witnessed firsthand their devotion and commitment to providing excellence in their timely service. On many occasions, I have seen them set aside their personal fun and social lives to help out with their fellow Long Beachers. Thank you.
Yeah, we've got one more letter. My name is Paul Applegate, CPA, and I have been a resident of Long Beach for over 25 years. During that time, Long Beach has grown as evidenced by the new construction on Lakeshore Drive, the expansion of the Hidden Shore subdivision, and various other home additions and new construction. The organization charged with protecting our properties is the Long Beach Volunteer Fire Department, and the key word is volunteer. These men and women potentially risk their lives in the event of a structure fire to protect our home.
Dr. LeMay?
Yeah.
Before you move forward, I would suggest that you get a copy of all of those letters and make them part of your record
Yes.
that were read off.
So we can print those up, right?
Yep, that's why we brought it.
Yeah. These men and women potentially risk their lives in the event of a structure fire to protect our homes and possibly our lives. All this is done on a volunteer basis, which means that none of these brave men and women receive any compensation for potentially risking their lives. When is the last time any of us have risked our lives for no compensation? My daughter Megan and son Blake, who are both partners in our CPA firm, and my son-in-law Matt Weber are also Long Beach volunteer firefighters. Every time they are paged for a fire call, I worry about their safety, yet they and the other Long Beach volunteer firefighters do this on a volunteer basis. I believe it's important that we support the Long Beach Volunteer Fire Department in every way possible. I've been the treasurer of the Long Beach Civic Association for over 20 years, and our organization has funded numerous projects for Long Beach Volunteer Fire Department and the Long Beach Police Department. We have done this over the years because we recognize the importance of these two departments and the valuable service they provide. Based on analysis by Sender and Company, it's my understanding that the proposed new building will not result in a property tax increase for most homeowners in Long Beach. Although I have not studied the details of these calculations, I would have total confidence in that analysis based on the fact that Carl Sender and I both started our accounting careers at Crowe & Chiswick and Company, which is one of the top-rated CPA firms in the country. In conclusion, I ask the Long Beach Town Council to invest in the future of a community and approve the proposed building project. Thank you for consideration. Okay, so, yep.
We also got one in tonight at 5:13 from Kendra Bartlett, supporting the public safety meeting. So that should be on record, and I'll send it to Deanna.
Okay. So now we'll open it up for comments from people who, let's do Zoom first. And we want to limit it. Let's go 2 minutes because some of the letters were a little longer than a minute and a half. So 2 minutes is the maximum. Anybody on Zoom want to talk either in favor of or against this project?
Yeah, hi, Mary O'Neill, 1532 Lakeshore Drive. While I am totally for this, I believe our police and fire do admirable work. I still keep kind of looking at the finances. Unfortunately, being on Zoom, we couldn't see any of the things on the screen earlier. But if I understood John correctly, they're asking you to approve a $2.5 million project when we only have 30% drawings. That I don't want to go down the road like we did with the sewers where the money keeps piling up. I just think we need to keep a really close eye on the finances. I want it to get done, but I want it to be done fiscally responsible. And then my only other comment is, I believe when we were the town was lobbying the state for Stop 24, we had to prove to the state that we had adequate parking for people to go there. And if the firehouse takes up 24 spots at the current location, I'm wondering if that will jeopardize anything. Other than that, I commend the fire department for all their work, and I hope that maybe some of that budget can be used to fix up the building so that the police department can then repurpose what's already there.
Anybody else on Zoom with any comments? All right, let's just go with who's here. You want to come up to the microphone? Just introduce yourself, address too. Yeah, hit the button.
Is it on? Yeah. Jim Laughlin. I'm at 2811 Lakeshore Drive in total support of this. I don't like to trivialize, but to me, it's a no-brainer. And I was pleased to see all the people on Lakeshore Drive supporting this effort, because not all those people did support the debauch sewer thing. That was $13 million to start with. So I think it's a no-brainer. The cost, I've worked with Carl Sender at the 39 North Conservancy District for years. I think he's a reliable source. And I just think if it's within that range, again, all I can say is no-brainer, and I would appeal to all of you to support this effort.
Anybody else?
This is Meg Carey at 3008 Lakeshore Drive. I'm on Zoom. I apologize. I didn't get my hand raised sooner. My question was, you indicated there was little to no tax increase for those capped at the 1%. What about those who are not capped at the 1%? What is the fiscal effect of that?
I don't have the numbers for like a 2% property. If it's a rental property, that would be a 2%. But we could run those numbers and have them available for the website. there will be additional, at a higher level than at, say, 150,000 is about the cutoff right now. If you're not a homesteader, you'll have more assessed value. But again, if you're at the 1%.
I'm sorry, I can't hear what you're saying.
But I'll get those to the council members and they can get it uploaded.
Thank you.
That's a vicious mic, be careful.
Hi, my name is Meg Collins. I live at 2400 Florimond Drive. My dad is John Wall, and I grew up with the fire department along with my siblings. My grandfather was on it, my uncle, my cousins, my brother. The Applegates are an example of this, that there's a reason that so many families and friends care about this effort of our town, and why all of these family members, including my spouse, who got pressure for 10 years to join and never did, and has since joined a few years ago, and it brings such joy to his life. His grandfather was a Chicago firefighter for his career, and I can attest that growing up with it, my dad's comment about gear being in the car, my husband's gear was in our vehicle for almost 2 years when he joined the fire department, and our car stunk like smoke. So that has not changed from when I was a child, and I just think it needs to. So the men and women that serve need space to train. I've watched my husband, my brother-in-law, and other family members that every time they train, they have to remove the trucks out of the station so that they have sufficient space. And I just think it's a shame this wasn't done long ago. So, thank you.
Anybody else want to come up and talk?
So I just want to take one. I'm Jim Laughlin's partner. He just spoke. I'm John Lineweber. We're at 2811 Lakeshore Drive. The reason I bring it up is I'm the one that's gotten the Friendship Botanic Garden where it was dead. I've raised a few $1 million over there to build it up, and to now we have 80,000 people going through it. When I started, they had 2,000 people. It was never open. I'm also on the Barker Foundation, the national board. As if you know what's going on in the mansion, and we're also actually we put over $10 million to bring that mansion back for the community of Michigan City, and Long Beach is part of Michigan City, whether you like it or not. We are, and this is an extraordinary place. I guess the only thing that I would like to, I've been pretty good at raising money, and there are so many grants out there right now for money that I don't know if we want to do it for this. $2.5 million isn't a whole lot of money with what I'm talking about. And at some point, I would like to talk to some people here that are on the board and that are interested. I don't think we're taking advantage of what's out there and what's available. And I think Noah's breaking her head. She knows me a little bit. And it's a tremendous opportunity that we don't have to deal with taxes. But there's so much money on the national government, on the Indiana at the our state. We have now the thing. We're part of the bicycle deal that's going in from Chicago to New Buffalo. This is not a few $100,000. It's hundreds of thousands of dollars, and we've allowed them to come into the garden. I've negotiated some of they want to do that, and they come on the outside of it. But it's really I've been able to raise quite a bit of money with them. And to make the garden, if you notice when you come in now, there's piers, there's big gates, and so on and so forth. I would just like to maybe at some point give some advice to some of the people here in terms of raising money going forward with different kinds of things that we have to do here in Long Beach, because I'm so proud of being here. We've been here 41 years. We have 7 grandchildren, believe it or not. I was the bio child, person that had raised the children. But then all of our grandchildren are here, and so are our daughters, so on and so forth. I don't want to talk anymore, but there's some opportunities that I think we really have to take advantage of. And in all due respect, $2.5 million for something like this, for the safety of the people that live in Long Beach, and the children that live in Long Beach, and the wonderful volunteers that we have here, they should absolutely have everything that's totally safe, and that should be an example of everything that exists in this community. It's just extraordinary, and I know you guys are going to do a great job, but that was my 2 bits, so I did it.
Anyone else?
Hi, I'm Mike Konasek, 2711 Belle Plaine Trail, and I was a firefighter for over 21 years, 14 as a volunteer and 7 on a paid department. And all the things that have been said tonight, I'm not going to rehash them. A safe SCBA charging station and adequate space for, we don't need to rehash this. And we didn't actually set this up, but my question was, are we being too modest with this plan? Are there things that we should be doing to really bring us up to date beyond the 2.5 million? Should we try and get EMS rig out of a new station here during certain parts of the year, so that they're closer to the population whenever our heaviest traffic is with EMS? So what I asked the town council is, please don't be too modest. We're not going to do this again for a long, long time. So let's get what we need. Thanks.
Anyone else?
I'm Doug Wickstrom, 2811 Lindale Way. As John mentioned, I was a member of the committee that was working on this, and I have a couple of, I support everything that the committee did. I have a couple of perceptions that I want to add in my own words, my own voice. Really, hopefully succinct, brief things. First, the existing fire department building has exceeded its useful life. It's, as much as I hate to say that about any building, it's at the end of its life. The list of needs that were prepared by the police department and the fire department, in my perspective, is reasonable. It addresses the current and anticipated needs in a responsible way. Next, design build is an effective and economical method to go about this. It's proven, it's recognized by the state, and you should have confidence in that as a process. There were 2 complete and responsive proposals received, and the one from Holiday, in my opinion, was the most complete and the most attractive. So just in summary, I would completely support the recommendations of proceeding with this. So thank you.
Anyone else?
I'm Judy Langley. I live at 2019 Somerset Road. My family's been here since 1968, and I just wanted a public opportunity to thank the fire department and police department and the emergency services that has saved my family more often over the 5 decades than I can even number. And whatever this team needs from this community, we have to do this. And I love the creative solutions financially that everyone's offering up right now. I just wanted to, I can just feel that everyone in the community just really wants this to happen. Thank you.
Anyone else?
My name is Tom Znaver. I'm at 2305 Lakeshore Drive. I've only been with the Long Beach Fire Department a little over 3 years. My wife and I moved out here about 3.5 years ago. We're around full-time residents. I was a Chicago firefighter for 30 years. You can never even imagine the things we saw, the things we did, the types of incidents we were exposed to. Other than some orthopedic injuries and whatnot, I thank God that I never got any type of cancer or any type of communicable disease in all my years on the job. I feel like, I dodged a bullet in that regard. You got to realize that all these people that you see wearing these uniforms here tonight, they're not the only people that are on the Long Beach Fire Department. They've all got spouses, they've all got significant others, they've got children, they've got grandchildren. And when those 911 calls come in, our pagers go off, our phones go off, and it's not me that gets awakened alone, it's the household that gets awakened. So in essence, we're all this extended family are on the fire department and answering these calls at all hours. So with respect to the cleanliness and whatnot of like the facilities and our turnout gear and everything that John Wall, mentioned, very well. I'm grateful I didn't get anything from my previous job. Now I'm here. I'm doing this because I love our community. I do it for free. Our families are all part of this as well. And I don't think it's unreasonable to ask to have a decent place to take a shower after a call and clean up so I don't have to take that home. Someplace where I can hang my fire gear. If it's contaminated, I don't have to bring it in my car and take that back to my family. I really hope that you agree to take a vote tonight and support this project. I mean, we desperately need to get this done. Thank you.
Good evening. Nola Gertner, 2302 Fairway Drive. I'm a new resident of Long Beach, but I have just recently moved after 24 years from the village of Michiana, Michigan, where our volunteer first responders were our lifeblood and saved my husband many times when we needed them. So this building is needed, and I know Doug, we've worked together in the past, and you have a definite need. I just want to make sure that, and John is the man, that you have really explored all of your opportunities for funding and draw upon the resources of the people in this community who have that knowledge, who can maybe open doors and show you things that you had not thought of before. Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, let's close public comment then on this particular section of the meeting. So I think we've heard everything from everybody who wants to comment. I would make a motion that we proceed with the...
Bob, before you proceed with that, just a comment. The motion, I think, should contain language that says that we're approving an amount not to exceed $2.5 million, so that in the event that increases occur during the process, we can come back to the table and talk about it in terms of the scope of the project and why those increases are. So I would say that any motion should contain the language that it should not exceed $2.5 million.
So I'd make that motion that we proceed with the project not to exceed $2.5 million through the mechanism of the building corporation.
I'd second that.
Discussion.
The only point I would make about the money, and I appreciate, Mike and I have been on the budget and finance together, and we're trying to keep the town on a straight and narrow as far as finances go, and I certainly appreciate the thought behind having a cap on this thing. I think it's unreasonable, though, to think that there might not be some differences over time, and I think if I understand Mike's motion correctly, what we're saying is we're authorizing 2.5 so that we can proceed with the design-build contract with the contractor, with the design-build team, but we want to keep that 2.5 as the threshold right now, or the cap, so to speak, with the idea that in the event we find we have a problem or we need to do something else, we bring it back to the council before we proceed with anything over that.
That's correct.
Got it.
Okay, so there's a motion, a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 That was unanimous. Okay, so... Any public comments on anything else we did tonight? Good.
We have to approval of claims.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Any council comments?
One last thing, I want to move these microphones. I will just say, public service can be a little grisly at times. There's some of us up here have had disagreements over time on different items, but I'm so proud of you. That's not true.
No.
I've never bloodied his nose, but there's been times when. No, but I really do appreciate everybody's input tonight and your positive vote for this project. It's really important to my heart and I think to the community. Thank you so much.
Claims approval. Mr. Perry, are you out there?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Claims approval, town checks number 19,417 to 19,502 totaling $271,155.52. December payroll totaling $75,137.01. I will entertain a motion to approve.
I make motion to approve. Is there a second?
I second it.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Don't leave until we sign everything.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thanks, everybody, for coming.
Thank you.